I don't want to keep y'all up too long.
Book. We're doing the Champion Arms for Battle today. Probably just that. Actually, definitely just that, because I haven't gone through the next chapter. We're taking it slow.
Christina didn't do her homework.
He puts on clothes for much less of it than I remember.
Yeah, right?
See the whole thing. It's just a couple pages.
So, like, even though the title of the chapter is like, Achilles gets dressed, Achilles puts his pants on.
Who would like to do a review of what happened last time?
I can do it. Unless you want to go for it, Murat.
No.
According to the last chapter.
No.
Here's what I know. Everyone was fighting over Patroclus's body. That was a real intense image of everyone falling on a limb. I know that Hector put on Achilles' armor, which is not cool. Achilles found out that Patroclus died, and his mom was like trying to calm him down a bit, but he was like, I'm never gonna be happy again. I wish I'd never been born, etc. His mom was gonna go do something. I don't remember what her goal was. Also, Zeus was being a typical problem. That's what I got.
Sounds accurate to me.
Yeah.
Good. Achilles' mom went to Olympus because Achilles he needed something.
His armor?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great.
So she went and got Hephaestus to make him some new armor. Some new armor. And that took a long time. That took like 6 pages of describing how he like engraved a bunch of stuff on the shield.
Hephaestus doodle.
So this time, she's brought back the armor and she's going to give it to him. As dawn rose up in her golden robe from ocean's tides, bringing light to immortal gods and mortal men, Thetis sped Hephaestus' gifts, the armor, to the ships. She found her beloved son lying face down, embracing Patroclus' body, sobbing, wailing. And round him crowded troops of mourning comrades, and the glistening goddess moved among them now, seized Achilles' hand and urged him, spoke his name.
My child, leave your friend to lie there. We must, though it breaks our hearts. The will of the gods has crushed them once and for all. Oh. But here, Achilles, accept his glorious armor. Accept this glorious armor. Look, from the god of fire, burnished bright, finer than any mortal has ever borne across his back.
Urging, the goddess laid the armor down at Achilles' feet, and the gear clashed out in all its blazoned glory. A tremor ran through the Myrmidon ranks. None dared to look straight at the glare. Each fighter shrank away. But not Achilles. The more he gazed, the deeper his anger went, his eyes flashing under his eyelids, fierce as fire, exulting, holding the gods' shining gifts in his hands. And once he'd thrilled his heart with looking hard at the armor's well-wrought beauty, he turned to his mother, winged words flying.
Mother, armor sent by the god, you're right. Only immortal gods could forge such work. No man on earth could ever bring it off. Now, by heaven, I'll arm and go to war. But all the while my blood runs cold with fear. Menœtius' fighting son, the carrion blowflies, will settle into his wounds, gouged deep by the bronze. Worms will breed and seethe, defile this man's corpse. His life's ripped out, his flesh may rot to nothing.
But glistening-footed Thetis reassured him.
Oh, my child, wipe these worries from your mind. I'll find a way to protect him from those swarms, the vicious flies that devour men who fall in battle. He could lie there dead till a year has run its course, and his flesh still stand firm, even fresher than now. So go and call the Argive warriors to the muster. Renounce your rage at the proud commander Agamemnon, then arm for battle quickly. Don your fighting power.
With that, she breathed in her son tremendous courage that instilled in Patroclus's nostrils fresh ambrosia, blood-red nectar too, to make his flesh stand firm.
Wow.
Achilles was nervous because Patroclus's dead body, which he refuses to burn and bury, will get bugs because that's what happens to dead bodies. But she was like, don't worry, I'll put some food of the gods in his nose and he'll be fine. And that works.
That sounds like trying to calm a child. It's like, okay, it's okay. Look, they'll do this. It'll be all okay.
But brilliant Achilles strode along the surf, crying his piercing cry and roused Achaean warriors. Even those who'd kept to the beached ships till now, the helmsman who handled the heavy steering oars and stewards left on board to deal out rations, even they trooped to the muster. Great Achilles, who held back from the brutal fighting so long, had just come blazing forth. And along came 2 aides of Ares, limping in. Battle-hard Diomedes, flanked by good Odysseus, leaning on their spears, still bearing painful wounds, and slowly found their seats in the front ranks. And the lord of men Agamemnon came in last of all, weighed down by the wound he took in the rough charge, when Coon, son of Antenor, slashed his arm with bronze. And now, as all the Achaean armies massed together, the swift runner Achilles rose among them, asking,
Agamemnon, was it better for both of us, after all, for you and me to rage at each other, raked by anguish, consumed by heartsick strife, all for a young girl? If only Artemis had cut her down at the ships with one quick shaft, that day I destroyed Lyrnessus, chose her as my prize. How many fewer friends had gnawed the dust of the wide world, brought down by enemy hands while I raged on and on? Better? Yes, for Hector and Hector's Trojans, not for the Argives. For years to come, I think, they will remember the feud that flared between us both. Enough. Let bygones be bygones. Done is done. Despite my anguish, I will beat it down, the fury mounting inside me, down by force. Now, by God, I call a halt to all my anger. It's wrong to keep on raging, heart inflamed forever. Quickly, drive our long-haired Achaeans to battle now, so I can go at the Trojans once again and test their strength and see if they still long to camp the night at the ships. They'll gladly sink to a knee and rest at home, I'd say. Whoever comes through alive from the heat of combat out from under my spear.
Welcome, rousing words, and Achaeans at arms roared at Anyway. They roared out with joy to hear the great-hearted Achilles swearing off his rage. Now it was King Agamemnon's turn to address them. To my memory, he hasn't spoken to Achilles since book 1. This has been a long time coming.
Wow.
He hasn't spoken in a while.
Yeah, true.
Good old Aggie.
Oh, Aggo.
Agman.
Rose from his seat, not moving toward the center. The Lord of Men spoke out from where he stood.
My friends, fighting Danaans, aides of Ares, when a man stands up to speak, it's well to listen, not to interrupt him, the only courteous thing. Even the finest speaker finds intrusions hard. Yet how can a person hear or say a word? This howling din could drown the clearest voice. But I will declare my inmost feelings to Achilles. And you, the rest of you Argives, listen closely. Every man of you here, mark each word I say. Often the armies brought this matter up against me. They would revile me in public, but I am not to blame. Zeus and fate and the fury, stalking through the night, they are the ones who drove that savage madness in my heart that day in assembly when I seized Achilles' prize on my own authority. True, but what could I do? A god impels all things to their fulfillment. Ruin, eldest daughter of Zeus, she blinds us all. That fatal madness, she with those delicate feet of hers, never touching the earth, gliding over the heads of men to trap us all. She entangled one man, now another. Why? She and her frenzy blinded Zeus one time. Highest
for now. Yeah.
So yeah, let's leave it at the feet.
So you might have noticed that Agamemnon is blaming Zeus for his anger, not taking responsibility for it at all, like a real man.
Like a real man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just being like, that was, oh man, if only Zeus hadn't made me so angry, this never would have happened.
Deflecting right off his shiny helmet.
Yeah. Another classic.
He goes on to tell a page-and-a-half story about how this one time Zeus was also mad, so it's okay.
Oh, dude, he's playing the good apologetic boyfriend.
And so with me, I tell you, when tall Hector with that flashing helmet of his kept slaughtering Argives pinned against our ships, how could I once forget that madness, that frenzy, the ruin that blinded me from that first day? But since I was blinded and Zeus stole my wits, I am intent on setting things to rights at once. I'll give that priceless ransom paid for friendship. Gear up for battle now, and rouse the rest of your armies. As for the gifts, here I am to produce them all that good Odysseus promised you in full the other day when he approached your tents. Or if you prefer, hold off a moment now, much as your heart would spur you on to war. Aids will fetch that treasure trove from my ship. They'll bring it here to you, so you can behold what hoards I'll give to set your heart at peace.
But the swift runner Achilles broke in sharply.
Field Marshal Atreides, Lord of Men Agamemnon, produce the gifts if you like, as you see fit, or keep them back. It's up to you. But now, quickly, call up the wild joy of war at once. It's wrong to malinger here with talk, wasting time. Our great work lies all before us, still to do. Just as you see Achilles charge the front once more, hurling his bronze spear, smashing Troy's battalion, so each of you remember to battle down your man.
Agamemnon's like, I have these gifts. Remember, I promised you all these gifts. Achilles doesn't care about the gifts.
Right.
He only cares about killing Hector. He also knows he's going to die pretty soon, so it doesn't really matter. But Odysseus knows that there's some diplomacy to be done here, so he kind of steps in. Odysseus, fine at tactics, answered firmly.
Not so quickly brave as you are, godlike Achilles. Achaea's troops are hungry. Don't drive them against Troy to fight the Trojans. It's no quick skirmish shaping. Once a massed formation of men begin to clash with a god-breathing fury in both sides at once. No, command them now to take their food and wine by the fastest ships. A soldier's strength and nerve. No fighting can battle all day long, cut and thrust, till the sun goes down, if he is starved for food. Even though his courage may blaze up for combat, his limbs will turn to lead before he knows it, and thirst and hunger will overtake him quickly. His knees will cave in as the man struggle on, but the one who takes his fill of food and wine before he grapples enemies full force, dawn to dusk. The heart in his chest keeps pounding fresh with courage, nor do his legs give out till all break from the battle. Come, dismiss your ranks and have them make their meal. As for their gifts, let the kings of men Agamemnon have a lot of them hauled amidst our muster, so all the troops can see the trove themselves. And you, Achilles, you can warm your heart, and let the king stand up before the entire army. Let Agamemnon swear to you his solemn binding oath. He never mounted her bed, never once made love with her. The natural thing, my lord, men and women joined. And you, Achilles, show some human kindness too, in your own heart. Then, as a peace offering, let him present you a lavish feast in his tent, so you won't lack your just deserts at last. And you, great son of Atreus, you be more just to others from now on. It is no disgrace for a king to appease a man when the king himself was the first to give offense.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Trying to smooth things over. Let's all have dinner. Talk over. It's okay.
Right.
So the Lord of Men, Agamemnon, answered warmly.
Son of Atreus.
Son of Atreus.
That's me though. Okay.
That's me though.
I, son of Atreus, speak to you, son of Laertes. I delight to hear your counsel. You have covered it all fairly, point by point. I'll gladly swear your oath. The spirit moves me now. Nor will I break that oath in the eyes of any god, but let Achilles remain here for the moment. Much as his heart would race him into war, the rest remain here too, all in strict formation, till the treasure trove is hauled forth from my tents, and we can seal our binding oaths in blood. And you, Odysseus, I tell you, I command you, pick out young men, the best in our joint forces, bring forth the gifts from my ship, all we promised Achilles just the other day, and bring the women too. Here in the presence of our united armed contingents, let Thalthiabus quickly prepare a wild boar for me. We must sacrifice to the sun and Father Zeus.
But the swift runner Achilles interjected.
Field Marshal Atrides, Lord of Men Agamemnon. Better busy yourself with that some other time, when a sudden lull in the fighting lets us rest, and the furies not such fire inside my heart. Now our men are lying mauled on the field, all that Hector the son of Priam overwhelmed when Zeus was handing Hector his high glory. But you and Odysseus urge us to a banquet. I, by God, I'd drive our Argives into battle now, starving, famished, and only then, when the sun goes down, lay on a handsome feast, once we've avenged our shame. Before then, for me at least, neither food nor drink will travel down my throat, not with my friend dead, there in my shelter, torn to shreds by the sharp bronze, his feet turned to the door, stretched out for burial. Round him comrades mourning. You talk of food. I have no taste for food. What I really crave is slaughter and blood and the choking groans of men.
Oh.
That's pretty sick.
Pretty metal.
Yeah, man's gonna go to war on an empty stomach.
But don't worry, Odysseus is here, the cool tactician. He tried to
Cool tactician.
Achilles, son of Peleus, greatest of the Achaeans, greater than I, stronger with spear by no small edge. Yet I might just surpass you in seasoned judgment by quite a lot, since I have years on you, and I know the world much better. So let your heart be swayed by what I say. Now, fighting men will sicken of battle quickly. The more dead husks the bronze strews on the ground, the sparser the harvest then. When Zeus Almighty tips his scales and the tide of battle turns, the great steward on high who rules over mortal wars. You want the men to grieve for the dead by starving? Impossible. Too many falling day after day. Battalions. When could we find breathing space from fasting? No, we must steel our hearts, bury our dead, with tears for the day they die, not one day more. And all those left after the hateful carnage, remember food and drink, so all the more fiercely we can fight our enemies nonstop, no mercy, durable as the bronze that wraps our bodies. Let no one hold back now, waiting for their summons. These are your summons. Pain and death to the man who skulks beside the ships. Now, all in mass, drive hard against them, rousing battering war against these stallion-breaking Trojans.
Yeah. He led a fort formed of the brave old soldier Nestor's sons, Meges, the son of Phyleus, Meriones and Theos, Lycomedes, the son of Creon, Melanippus too. Off they went to the tent of Agamemnon. A few sharp commands and the work was done. So they're bringing back the list of gifts, ransom they're going to give to Achilles. It's been listed a few times, but it's been a minute, so we'll go through it again.
Enough lists.
Lists.
Do they have like a bunch of ladies in the ships, or like we captured you, wait here?
No. So these are some of Agamemnon's war wives. He's giving Achilles the 7 best of his war wives.
When you say like a war wife.
Like a slave.
Oh.
A sex
I
slave.
can't imagine like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're just hanging out.
Oldest wives. I just thought like oldest wives that go front line.
Well, they do all kinds of stuff. They're kind of like acting like housewives. They clean the tents and they like do cooking and whatever else. Tending. They also do a lot of weaving, so they're making new clothes, which takes a long time.
They're
So,
useful.
I mean,
I really imagine war wives like secret weapons. Send in the war wives. It's like vicious like war wives.
By this point, most of them are raising children.
Oh right, it's been a while.
It's been 10 years, so most of them have babies, or young children by this point.
Yeah, not 10-year-olds, man. They're running around.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Not the best to be a woman in these times, but they love
That's
age.
a good point.
Or really like any history times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Murat gets it. He's been there.
I've been there. I was a woman 3,000 years ago. Please cut that part out. Go on. I'm sorry.
I second cutting that.
Thank you. See, Darian's on my side.
I think I'll just.
See, Darian gets me.
Yeah, pretty much from the time Murat started saying he got. Take that off.
Just cut me out. Oh.
I'll replace you with Danny DeVito, like in his.
Honestly, you contribute a lot more. Just standing like this in the corner would contribute so much more. And probably be less sexist.
Okay, so 7 tripods hauled from the tents as promised, 20 burnished cauldrons, a dozen massive stallions. They quickly brought out women, flawless, skilled in crafts. 7. And Briseis in all her beauty made the 8th. So we haven't seen Briseis in a long time. Here she is.
Perseus?
Briseis. So she's the one who Agamemnon took from Achilles. So she's the reason why Achilles was mad this whole time.
Oh, that's who she was.
Yep.
Oh.
She was also a really good friend to Patroclus, so that's not going to go too well.
Ooh. So.
Yeah. Then Odysseus weighed out 10 full bars of gold and led the princes back, laden with other gifts, and they set them down amid the meeting grounds. Agamemnon rose to his feet, the crier Talthybius, his voice clear as a god's, holding the bower in his arms, flanked the great commander. And Atreus' son drew forth the dagger, always slung at his battle sword's big sheath. He cut some hairs from the boar's head, first tufts to start the right, and lifting up his arms to Zeus on high, he prayed while the armies held fast to their seats in silence, all by rank and file, listening to their king. He scanned the vaulting skies as his voice rang in prayer.
Zeus, be my witness first, the highest, best of gods. Then earth, the sun, and Furies stalking the world below to wreak revenge on the dead who broke their oaths. I swear I never laid a hand on the girl, Briseis. I never forced her to serve my lust in bed or perform some other task. Briseis remained untouched within my tents. True. If a word of what I say is falsely sworn, may the gods deal out such blows to me, such agonies as they deal out to the men who break sworn oaths and take their names in vain.
On those terms, he dragged the ruthless dagger across the boar's throat, and he isn't immediately smited, which implies that he's telling the truth. So he didn't actually rape Briseis, which is cool.
Which is cool.
It's a little
There's
confusing, honestly, because he took her to be another of his war wife slaves.
Yeah.
He's
So-
like, I was gonna, I just didn't yet.
No, I was just gonna get around to it. I'm busy.
But it's like, I mean, cool, very cool. I'm happy he didn't, but I just don't really understand how that happened. But okay.
Also, just like never slept with her or performed any other task, so you just kind of like kept her
She just sat in a corner.
for no reason.
Yeah,
You could just let her go.
it's the principle of the thing.
Oh yeah. It's the principle.
Anyway, so that's Briseis. She's back.
Good old Briseis.
hmm Then Prince Achilles stood and addressed the Argives keen for battle.
Father Zeus, great are the blinding frenzies you deal out to men. If not, I swear, Atrides could never have roused the fury in me, the rage that would not die, or wrenched the girl away against my will. Stubborn, implacable man. But Zeus somehow was bent on this awesome slaughter of Achaeans. Go now, take your meal, the sooner to bring on more.
Achilles also blames Zeus for inciting this rage in Agamemnon. It's whatever.
So whatever. Alright, whatever. Everyone's over it.
This brusque command dispersed the muster quickly. The contingent scattered, each to his own ship. Exultant myrmidons took charge of the gifts and bore them off to their royal captain's moorings. They stowed them safe in his shelters, settled the women, and proud henchmen drove the teams to his herds. And so Briseis returned, like golden Aphrodite. But when she saw Patroclus lying torn by the bronze, she flung herself on his body, gave a piercing cry, and with both hands clawing deep at her breasts, her soft throat and lovely face, she sobbed, a woman like a goddess in her grief.
Patroclus, the dearest joy of my heart, my harrowed, broken heart. I left you alive that day. I left these shelters. Now I come back to find you fallen, captain of armies. So grief gives way to grief. My life, one endless sorrow. The husband to whom my father and noble mother gave me, I saw him torn by the sharp bronze before our city. And my 3 brothers, a single mother bore us. My brothers, how I loved you. You all went down to death on the same day. But you, Patroclus, you would not let me weep. Not when the swift Achilles cut my husband down. Not when he plundered the lordly city. Not even weep. No, again and again, you vowed you make me godlike Achilles' lawful wedded wife. You would sail me west in your warships, home to Phthia, and there with the Myrmidons hold my marriage feast. So now I mourn your death. I will never stop. You will always kind.
Briseis' backstory was that she lived in the city and it was sacked by the Greeks when they were on their way to Troy. And Achilles killed her husband and her 3 brothers and then took Briseis as a slave. And that's how he won her. And she came back and was crying, and Patroclus comforted her and said, "Don't worry. I promise that when we get back to home, when we get back to Phthia, I'll make sure that Achilles marries you." Now that sounds like a bad thing, considering he killed her husband and 3 brothers.
Right.
But the alternative, and that's what's going to happen to all these other war wives, is that they just get abandoned when everyone else goes home. So Agamemnon's married legally to a woman back home. He's got like 30 war wives. He's just going to leave them and all his children and go back home to his real wife. So Patroclus says, "Don't worry, I'll make sure Achilles marries you. It's going to be fine. I'll make sure of it. You'll be safe." And that's actually a comfort to Briseis.
Right. Like
Now-
actually provides some level of security.
Right, it's security. She'll be safe. Now Patroclus is dead. Achilles is going to die. Briseis is screwed.
Oh yeah. Oof.
Sad.
Sad.
That is rough. That's really rough. It's really cool. Like they really managed to capture every side of this war within this story. It's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, it is pretty all encapsulating. There's a whole book written from Briseis' point of view, which is pretty cool. I read it a little while ago. I think it's called The City of the Girls, or The Lost City of the Girls, something like that, by Pat Barker. I'd recommend it if you're interested.
I got Song of Achilles. Is like that vibe?
Song of Achilles is better.
Okay. I like it. I want to start reading it next week.
I'm biased. It's my favorite book.
Oh, okay.
But,
wow. All right.
Yeah. Let me know what you think about it.
In the comments below.
I meant you, Murat, but
Oh,
Yes, Murat, comment down below what you think.
I will comment down below. Please.
Murat, your
Friend
brother
of the podcast.
the other day.
Huh?
Your brother subscribed the other day.
What?
Yeah.
Ali, friend of the podcast. Carolyn, Ali's wife, friend of the podcast.
So Briseis' voice rang out in tears, and the women wailed in answer, grief for Patroclus, calling forth each woman's private sorrows. But Achaea's warlords clustered round Achilles, begging him to eat. Achilles only spurned them, groaning.
I beg you, if any comrade will hear me out in this, stop pressing me now to glut myself with food and drink. Now such painful grief has come and struck my heart. I'll hold out till the sun goes down, enduring, fasting, despite your appeals.
His voice so firm that Achilles caused the other kings to scatter. But the true Atrides stayed, so Menelaus and Agamemnon stayed, and good Odysseus, Nestor, Idomeneus, Phoenix, the old charioteer, all trying to comfort Achilles deep in sorrow. But no comfort could reach the fighter's heart till he went striding into the jaws of bloody war. The memories swept over him. His eyes heaved from his depths as Achilles burst forth.
Ah, God, time and again, my doomed, my dearest friend, you would set before us a seasoned meal yourself here in our tents in your quick and expert way, when Argive forces rushed to fight the Trojans, stampeding those breakers of horses into rout. But now you lie before me, hacked to pieces here, while the heart within me fasts from food and drink. Those stores inside are full. I'm sick with longing for you. There is no more shattering blow that I could suffer, not even if I should learn of my own father's death, who this moment is weeping warm tears in Thea. I know it, bereft of a son as loved as this. And here I am in a distant land, fighting Trojans, and all for that blood-chilling horror, Helen, or the death of my dear son, reared for me in Scyros, if Prince Neoptolemus is still among the living. Till now I'd hoped with all my heart that I alone would die, far from the stallion land of Argos here in Troy, but you, Patroclus, would journey back to Thea, and then you'd ferry Neoptolemus home from Scyros, fast in your black ship, and show him all my wealth, my serving men, my great house with the high vaulting roof. For father, I fear, if he's not dead and buried yet, just clings perhaps to his last breath of life, ground down now by the hateful siege of years, waiting day after day for painful news of me until he learns his only son is dead.
So he mentions a few things here. So Neoptolemus is Achilles' son. Surprise, he has a son.
What?
Oh, that came. Okay.
Way back before the war, Achilles wanted to hide because he didn't want to fight in this war. He knew that there'd be other wars. He was still pretty young. He was about 17 when the war started. He didn't want to die yet. So what he did was he hid out on the island of Scyros. The king of Scyros had, I think, 50 daughters. So Achilles dressed in drag and acted like a daughter and just hid. And learned to dance and danced with them. And married one and had a child with her. Got her pregnant. He never met his son.
Oh, interesting. Wait, so Achilles dressed up as a woman for a while, acted to be one of the daughters because there's so many the king probably couldn't tell.
Well, the king knew he was there. But what happened is Odysseus and Diomedes were sent to this island to get Achilles, and they looked around. They couldn't tell which one was him. And what they did, there's a few different stories as to how they did this, but one story is that they put out a bunch of jewelry and then one sword, and then all the girls ran forward and took a bunch of jewelry. Achilles with the sword.
I've heard about that.
Yep.
The other one, which I like a little bit better because it makes a little more sense and it doesn't treat Achilles like an idiot, is that they set off the palace alarm. So it's like the people were like, oh, we're getting attacked, and all the girls ran away, and Achilles stood to fight. And they were like,
that's pretty lit.
That's Achilles.
That's pretty sick. I like that one.
Yeah, he's a bit less of a dumbass in that one.
I was gonna say, in that one he's actually good. The other one's oh, nice.
Yeah. So, anyway, he has a son there. He is, I mean, it's a little complicated because he's 10, but he actually comes back at the end of the Trojan War and helps them win. I'm pretty sure he kills Paris.
Paris dies?
Eventually.
Well,
Spoilers!
spoiler.
Not in this book, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good. He doesn't die in the movie either. Yeah, because that's kind of what I was thinking. Was Patroclus' promise kind of an empty promise? since Achilles has a wife at home, wouldn't that just be like, I don't know, add to the pile of...
It's a good question. I don't.
That's kind of cool.
They had gotten married, but no. Briseis and Achilles.
They got war married.
War marriage. What happens in war marriage stays in war marriage.
He calls her his
cool.
wife because it's like the closest word they can think of, I guess. It's all very Stockholm syndrome-y. But yeah.
This is really cool.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I guess, like, I don't know, the relationship part of this whole war somehow ends up playing a bigger role in the development of things than the actual war itself, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, the best part of it is the interpersonal drama.
Right? Like, especially, like, love relationships. The love affairs played such a huge role with gods and the characters.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
I mean, the whole war started because of an affair.
That's true. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone go to horny jail because of y'all. Troy is still lost.
What?
Go to horny jail.
Go to horny jail.
Oh no.
His voice rang out in tears, and the warlords mourned in answer, each remembering those he had left behind at home. Seeing their grief, Zeus, the father, filled with pity, quickly turned to Athena with winging words.
My child, have you abandoned him forever? Your favorite man of war? Is it all lost now? No more care for Achilles left inside your heart? There he huddles before his curving, beaked ships, racked with grief for his dear friend, while others scatter, settling down to their meal. He's fasting, never fed. Go, run and instill some nectar and sweet ambrosia deep within his chest. Stave off his hunger now.
So Athena does that, and Achilles doesn't have to eat for a minute because he's got ambrosia in him.
Pretty good. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Like good berry or what?
This is that good berry. This is that good berry.
So here we are. They've eaten. Everyone's ready, thick and fast as the snow comes swirling down from Zeus, frozen sharp when the north wind, born in the heavens, blasts it on, so massed, so dense, the gleaming burnished helmets shone, streaming out of the ships and shields with jutting bosses, breastplates welded front and back, and the long ashen spears. The glory of armor lit the skies, and the whole earth laughed, rippling under the glitter of bronze, thunder resounding under trampling feet of armies. And in their midst, the moment we've all been waiting for, the brilliant Achilles began to arm for battle.
Oh, yeah.
Just in time, Colin is arriving to hear this part of the chapter.
What? Colin's here?
Oh,
No, Colin.
Why can't you see me?
I don't know.
Is this actually Colin or is this a game?
It's not Colin.
probably a robot.
Maybe it's an enemy of the podcast trying to infiltrate.
It's an enemy.
Oh no.
Which one do you think it is?
Probably Rick Riordan.
This kind of it amazes me how, like, in a way, how well written some of these characters are for this time.
I know.
Like, I don't know, like such early literature. How do they have such good character development, such good conflict, so much quality shit?
There weren't
Uh,
quite as many distractions from the artistic process.
oh, I guess. Oh, dude, not Facebook. Facebook is ruining the next Iliad, I guess.
You know what we should do sometime is Oedipus Rex.
Is that like a dinosaur?
Yeah. No, it's a Greek play, and
Oh, the Oedipus complex. That where? Oh, okay, never mind.
it has amazing.
Cut that out.
No.
Oh, that was good.
I studied psychology. You gotta cut that out.
I'm cutting out enough of your idiocy in this podcast.
Wait, go on.
It's a great play, really cool character development, and it's written way better than you'd expect and way better than I remembered. I just had to reread it this summer, and it was like,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's so good.
I actually watched a Zoom production of it also this summer.
Oh,
Like,
really?
elaborate. I'm very curious about that play, just because, like, I don't know, it's cool how that play became the main metaphor for all of psychoanalysis for easily like 60 years.
Which is nuts because he doesn't even have an Oedipus complex.
It's so cool. I like that.
Nice.
You guys had but yeah, dude, Colin's here. Talk about it.
Yay! Finally. What took him so long?
Colin, we're on page 500.
Nice.
Such a nice round number. Let's just end it here.
We're like one page from the end.
Great. I'm glad that I can show up in this episode just for a quick cameo before the finale.
Listen, got here just in time for the chapter title moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually.
Yes.
Achilles is about to put on clothes.
Oh,
This is what we've been waiting for.
Actually, though.
All right, so let's watch him get dressed.
Nice.
Sketchy, but sure.
Okay.
The brilliant Achilles began to arm for battle. A sound of grinding came from the fighter's teeth. His eyes blazed forth in searing points of fire. Unbearable grief came surging through his heart, and now, bursting with rage against the men of Troy, he donned Hephaestus's gifts. Magnificent armor, the god of fire forged with all his labor. First, he wrapped his legs with well-made greaves, fastened behind his heels with silver ankle clasps, which is why he couldn't really get shot in the heel, but we'll talk about that later. Next, he strapped the breastplate round his chest, then over his shoulder Achilles slung his sword, the fine bronze blade with its silver-studded hilt, then hoisted the massive shield, flashing far and wide, like a full round moon. And gleaming bright as light that reaches sailors out at sea, the flare of a watchfire burning strong in a lonely sheepfold up some mountain slope, when the gale winds hurl the crew that fights against them far over the fish-swarming sea, far from loved ones. So the gleam from Achilles' well-wrought blazoned shield shot up and hit the skies. Then, lifting his rugged helmet, he set it down on his brows, and the horsehair crest shone like a star, and the waving golden plumes shook that Hephaestus drove in, bristling thick along its ridge. And brilliant Achilles tested himself in all his gear. Achilles spun on his heels to see if it fitted tightly, see if his shining limbs ran free within it. Yes, it felt like buoyant wings lifting the great captain. Then at last, Achilles drew his father's spear from its socket stand, weighted, heavy, tough. No other Achaean fighter could heft that shaft. Only Achilles had the skill to wield it well.
Oh my lord.
Pelian ash it was, a gift to his father, Peleus, presented by Chiron once, hewn on Pelion's crest to be the death of heroes. Now the war team. Oh my gosh, there's a great horse moment coming. It's horse time again.
Oh, it's horse time.
First time.
Yeah.
Horse time.
Horse time, and the best horse time, and you'll see why in a second.
Yo.
Acclimus and Automedon worked to yoke them quickly. They cinched the supple breast straps round their chests, and driving the bridle irons home between their jaws, pulled the reins back taut to the bolted chariot. Seizing a glinting whip, his fist on the hand grip, Automedon leapt aboard behind the team, and behind him, Achilles struck his stance, helmed for battle now. Glittering in his armor like the sun astride the skies, his ringing, daunting voice commanding his father's horses. Roan, Beauty, and Charger. That's part one of why horse time is so wild. Dapple changed his name to Charger. Illustrious foals of Lightfoot. Try hard and do better this time. Bring your charioteer back home alive to his waiting Argive comrades once we're through with fighting. Don't leave Achilles there on the battlefield as you left Patroclus dead. And Rome Beauty, the horse with flashing hoofs, spoke up from under the yoke, bowing his head low so his full mane came streaming down the yoke pads, down along the yoke to sweep the ground. The white-armed goddess Hera gave him voice. Calling to be the
Yes, we will save your life, this time to Master Mighty Achilles, but the day of death already hovers near, and we are not to blame. But a great God is, and the strong force of fate. Not through our want of speed or any lack of care did the Trojans strip the armor off Patroclus's back. It was all that matchless god, sleek-haired Leto's son. He killed him among the champions and handed Hector glory. Our team could race with the rush of the west wind, the strongest, swiftest blast on earth, men say. Still, you are doomed to die by force, Achilles, cut down by a deathless god and mortal men. Me!
Hera?
His horses coming at Achilles. He's like, you're gonna die no matter what, bro. You're out.
Yeah.
Quality.
Horses are like, don't blame us. We did our job.
Like, oh,
Yes, we're pretty swift. Says Roan Beauty.
He said no more. The Furies struck him dumb. But the fiery runner Achilles burst out in anger.
Why, Roan Beauty? Why prophesy my doom? Don't look for death. I know, well, I know I am destined to die here, far from my dear father, far from mother. But all the same, I will never stop till I drive the Trojans to their bloody fill of war.
A high, stabbing cry, and out in the front ranks he drove his plunging stallions.
That's pretty sick. I just like to imagine Achilles
A
just
horse
like,
speaks to him, and he just takes it in stride, and he just
he's like, word.
talks back. He doesn't question, he talks back.
I like to think like no one else really heard the horse, and Achilles just like screaming at a horse. He's like, yo.
Maybe it's because he didn't eat all day.
It's just
Yeah, I mean, that's very possible.
It's the ambrosia.
the ambrosia, dude. Don't trust the berries, bro.
Not fucking high on ambrosia and is like, oh, these horses talking to me.
This horse is
But you're
telling me
right,
my
though.
doom.
Like, imagine Odysseus is just like walking by and just sees Achilles yelling at his horses. He's like, no, Roan, be nice to me.
I'm kind of rethinking this whole war thing now. Let's just go home.
Yeah, he's like, well, this guy's cracked.
This guy's crap.
Next time, we've got Olympian gods and arms. And after that, Achilles fights the river,
Yes.
literally.
Oh my gosh. Talking horses. River fights back.
He is proper cracked.
Yeah.
This whole war was Achilles' fever dream. He's just at home. SpongeBob, Iliad, fan fiction. Oh wait, that's already the movie.
No,
We should do
Odyssey.
SpongeBob movie after this, and then wait, we gotta watch Troy the movie, right? At the end of this,
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that for sure.
we can watch. Oh, but we're gonna go on to Edgar Allan Poe. Is there any SpongeBob, Edgar Allan Poe?
The Simpsons.
There
did
should
Raven.
be.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I show the Simpsons Raven to my students once a year.
Oh, is it good?
It's just the poem The Raven, but the Simpsons read it.
I guess I haven't seen either.
It's good.
They do the Raven in Gilmore Girls.
Nice.
There's a whole Poe society that comes to town.
Whoa.
Oh, what? All right,
I'd
well.
like to make a formal complaint.
Ew.
So, let's call the police.
Last time we made an episode and I was like robots, and then I was like I don't know what robots, and then I was like Transformers, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna cut all that out, and that wouldn't have been a problem except that I had gone back to a previous video and found where Murat had been like, oh, there's Transformers. And
There's still an episode I haven't published yet, so it might
Oh.
be.
oh,
We split last week into 2 episodes.
okay, well,
know.
I'd like to request that comments.
It's been pointed out, and now it's.
Well, because I
Here.
commented on the other video that where Murat brings it up and was like, Oh, foreshadowing.
I have no recollection.
Okay. Noted. I'll be sure if it's in the next one, I won't cut it out. And if it's in the last one, I formally apologize.
It's okay.
If
I mean,
you
I
just,
think,
put just that clip as a video.
I think if you split it, it must be in the one you didn't do because it would. I think it was at the end of last time.
Yeah, so probably.
I retract my complaint.
I'm glad we settled this right here before the war broke out.
Another war.
Right.
About olives. The second war is about robots.
that war is still going on, by the way. I don't know if y'all think it's over.
Colin,
It's kind of becoming the Cold War right now.
what side of the olive war are you on, Colin?
I think that you shouldn't eat raw olives.
Colin,
What?
why add fire to the fire? Why bring back this conflict?
Hey, I was asked to give my opinion, and I had to give an honest answer.
Your honesty is your downfall, Colin.
I don't care whether or not you can. I think you shouldn't.
I will send you
I
olives.
believe that you've eaten them. I
will
don't
send
believe that you should have.
It's so, guys, you know what? I'm not even gonna start. I'm gonna take the high road on this one.
Dude, don't
I'm
start.
gonna keep my
No, stop
I'm
it.
not gonna stoop down to your level, Colin, and
What
start.
level am I at?
I'm not gonna stoop this low on this olive hate.
As someone who doesn't like olives at all,
Oh my god!
Okay, well, we can all rally
Oh
against
my
that,
God.
can't we?
Alright, wait.
I
I
know
changed
this was
my
such
mind.
All right, enemy of the
I changed-
podcast, Darian, get out.
It's
such a
all of us
controversy.
versus Darian.
oh, the brine factor really was surprising to me to learn about.
Alright, okay. Okay, no. No. No.
Like before this conversation started weeks ago, if someone had been like, you know, the difference and between a brined olive and a not brined olive, I would have not known.
I mean, dude, I gotta say, we all learn things, but that doesn't change the olive hate in your heart that
They're
we
not
created
good.
by you.
It's like a salty, slimy grape. It's bad.
Well, there's different kinds of olives.
I don't really have too
Some are better
much.
than others.
Yes, there are different kinds.
Black olives are I will send you black olives in a form that you won't recognize they're olives. You will eat it, you'll be like, gee, this is dandy doodles. What kind of grape is this? I'll be like,
What kind of grape is this?
You say daddy noodles.
yes. You're gonna be like, oh, these raisins are mighty smushy for raisins. And you'll be like, oh, this isn't a raisin. It is so dandy.
I do have a question for you, though, which is why whenever anybody says that they don't like a specific type of food, your first instinct is to get the most of that type of food possible and make them have it. You've done this to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
true. You spent like
This is
$50
the way it
making
is.
me tiramisu from scratch once.
Oh, yeah, you didn't like tiramisu, did you?
I didn't, and to be fair, you did make me like tiramisu.
Wow.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
does it.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, I guess my question's been answered. You've been vindicated, Murat.
Got a history
What I'm saying.
of success.
Alright, so guys, crickets aren't all that bad, to be honest with you. Y'all like crickets.
They're not.
Alright, so I'm gonna send you so many crickets.
I'm a vegan.
Olives are vegan.
Yeah, I still don't like them.
Yeah.
Olives are vegan.
Share our videos with any talking horses that you might know.